Sir Steve Hansen said something about the Springboks this week that nobody expected to hear from a former All Blacks coach. Not about their scrum, not about their power game, about something much bigger than rugby. Then, less than 48 hours later, the All Blacks beat South Africa 33-16 at Ellis Park. So was Hansen wrong? Or did Saturday night prove something else entirely? Let's start with what he actually said, because it matters. Hansen wasn't talking about whether the Springboks are good enough to win the World Cup. He was talking about something that's been part of South African rugby for decades: selection quotas, transformation targets, the idea that for a long time, some places in the team weren't just about who was the best player available. That's always been a sensitive subject, and for good reason. It touches apartheid, it touches history, it touches fairness, and it touches identity. It's not something people in South Africa talk about lightly, and it's definitely not something a former All Blacks coach usually wades into. But Hansen did, and what he said wasn't dismissive of that history. It was almost the opposite. When you go there, you'll feel it, Hansen said, talking about the environment inside the current Springbok squad. It's been a country that has a history that they probably aren't proud of when it comes to apartheid. But there are a lot of other things that they are proud of. They're a very, very proud nation, and rugby brought them shoulder to shoulder. Then came the part that actually created the debate. You can see there is no division in the rugby team, Hansen said. For a long time they had selection quotas and stuff like that, but they don't need that anymore. That's a big statement, because officially, transformation targets are still part of South African rugby's long-term strategy. Representation is still written into how the sport develops from grassroots level upward. Hansen wasn't saying that policy doesn't exist. What he was saying is that when he looks at the test team Rassie Erasmus has built right now, he doesn't see a squad where anyone's spot needs explaining. He sees players who are there because they're good enough, full stop. And if you'd watched this Springbok squad in the build-up to Ellis Park, you'd understand why he'd think that. This is a team where World Cup winners get left out of the 23. Competition for places has become brutal. Rassie Erasmus has been rotating players constantly, and even that rotation isn't about giving fringe players a run. It's about managing a squad so deep that established stars are fighting just to make the bench. That's the environment Hansen was describing. A team that, in his eyes, had reached a point where selection wasn't a conversation about numbers anymore. It was just about who was playing the best rugby. And it wasn't just about selection. Hansen also talked about something else: the psychological effect of years of success. The old adage that success breeds success is true, he said. You come to expect it. South Africa had dominated a lot of their recent meetings with New Zealand heading into this series. And Hansen, who coached some of the greatest All Blacks teams in history, knows exactly what that kind of run does to a team's mindset. You don't lose the confidence that we can get out of this, and we can still win it, he said. That's not a small thing. That's the difference between a team that panics when a game turns ugly and a team that trusts itself to find a way back. So heading into Saturday, that was the picture. A united squad, a deep squad, a confident squad, and on the other side of the field, an All Blacks captain who knew exactly what he was walking into. Ardie Savea didn't downplay any of it. Every game against the Springboks is physical and challenging, he said. He talked about South Africa being at the peak of their game, and admitted that playing them can take you to places where you start questioning yourself. But that's exactly why he wanted it. As an All Black, that's where you want to be, he said. That's the setup. A former All Blacks coach praising Springbok unity and depth. The current All Blacks captain respecting South Africa as the best team in the world. And then the whistle blew at Ellis Park. For the first 40 minutes, everything Hansen said looked exactly right. South Africa dominated territory. Their scrum put real pressure on the All Blacks front row. This looked like the team Hansen had been describing: physical, composed, in control. At halftime, the Springboks led 13-12. Close, but they were the ones dictating terms. And then came the second half. New Zealand didn't just come back into the game. They took it over completely. By full time, the All Blacks had scored 5 tries to South Africa's 1. The final score was 33-16. A team that had been leading at the break ended up losing by 17 points. So here's the real question. Did that result actually contradict what Hansen said? Or did something happen at Ellis Park that had nothing to do with unity, selection, or quotas at all? To answer that, you have to look past the scoreline and into the numbers underneath it. And this is where the story gets interesting. South Africa finished the match with 61% territory. On paper, that's dominance. But territory isn't the same as control. New Zealand actually had more of the ball, 56% possession, and turned that possession into something South Africa couldn't match. Chances that became points. The number that tells you what really happened is this one. New Zealand won 14 turnovers over the course of the match. South Africa won just 5. Think about what that means. It's not that South Africa didn't have the ball or didn't have the field position to hurt New Zealand. They had both. What they didn't have was control once they got there. Time and time again, possession that should have turned into pressure ended up back in New Zealand's hands instead. And every one of those turnovers is a moment where a promising position just evaporates. No points, no territory gained, just a reset. Except now the other team has the ball and the momentum. That's not a story about who deserves to be in the squad. That's a story about what happens in the specific moments of a rugby match, under pressure, in real time. And then, in the final 10 to 12 minutes, South Africa picked up 2 yellow cards. Now, it's worth being precise here. The yellow cards didn't cause the turnover problem. They came late, when South Africa was already chasing the game and already under pressure from that possession imbalance. But they compounded everything. 2 players in the bin in the closing stages of a test match against a team playing with that much ball is about as difficult a position as you can be in. New Zealand made the most of it, and the game got away from South Africa in a hurry. So by the time the final whistle went, the number that actually explains the result isn't the scoreline. It's 14-5. Now, back to Hansen. What he said before this match was about culture and selection. He was describing a Springbok environment where players are there because they've earned it, where there's no division in the group, where success has built a confidence that doesn't disappear even when things get difficult. None of that was really tested by Saturday's result. What was tested was execution, specifically ball security and discipline in the moments that decide test matches. A team can be everything Hansen described: united, confident, full of players who've genuinely earned their positions, and still lose because they gave the ball away 14 times against a team clinical enough to punish every one of them. Those are 2 completely different conversations. One is about who's in the squad and why. The other is about what happens once the whistle blows. That distinction matters, because it would be easy to take Saturday's result and use it as a gotcha. Hansen said the Springboks don't need quotas, and then they lost by 17. But that's not really what happened. Hansen never said South Africa were unbeatable. He was answering a much bigger, longer-running question about transformation and merit inside South African rugby, specifically at test level. That conversation and the Ellis Park scoreline aren't really talking about the same thing. It's also worth remembering that transformation policy in South African rugby hasn't gone anywhere. It's still part of the sport's long-term development strategy from grassroots up. Hansen's comment was specifically about what he sees in this test squad under Erasmus right now, not a claim that the entire structure of South African rugby has changed. So where does that leave us heading into the rest of this series? This was one test. The opening match in a 4-test series that runs all the way to Baltimore in September. If Hansen's read on this Springbok squad is right, that this is a group built on merit, depth, and genuine competition for places, then the real test of that claim isn't one bad night at Ellis Park. It's how this team responds in the next test. Does the turnover count come down? Does the discipline hold up under pressure for a full 80 minutes instead of just 40? That's what will actually tell you whether Saturday was an aberration or a warning sign. Hansen's comments about Springbok unity will outlast this scoreline either way. What happens next in this series is what will tell us whether the team he described is the team that actually shows up. So what do you think? Does Hansen's comment still hold up after this result, or did Saturday change how you see it? Let me know in the comments.